people know that, well, the Mercator projection is pretty bad. Like, yeah, you might think that the island of Svalbard is bigger than, for instance, Germany. But if we take Svalbard and put it on Germany, we can see that it's actually a lot smaller. Now, if we take Libya and we place it over Europe, specifically Svalbard, we can see that Libya is much, much bigger than Svalbard. And as you can see, the entire country of Libya can go all the way from the west coast of Norway all the way to Russia, St. Petersburg in Russia, or the city of Chudovu in Russia, which is pretty cool. Another country is the country of Gabon. Now, looking at a map here, you'd think that Gabon is a lot smaller than Poland. However, we drag Gabon all the way up to Poland. We can actually see that Gabon and Poland are actually quite the same size. Only like 17,000 miles between them. Which is about the size of the Netherlands. One country that you might not really consider is the country of Chile. Now, Chile, of course, is a long country, but it's even longer when you put it over Europe. It can stretch all the way from Iceland to the Western Sahara, or Morocco for all you Moroccans. So yeah, it can stretch all the way from Vik in Iceland all the way down to about the city of Afistat or Aftisat in the Western Sahara, or Morocco, if you count the part that Morocco claims. Also, speaking of Chile, we place Chile in Asia, can stretch all the way from India to Kazakhstan, which is extremely interesting. Now, let's look at the islands country of Indonesia. When placed over China, of course, can stretch all the way from Uzbekistan to South Korea. What's more interesting is if we put it over Russia. It can stretch all the way from St. Petersburg in Russia all the way to the Russian-Chinese border in the east, which is extremely crazy considering that you might think that it's pretty small, but if we take Russia itself, we can see that it's not really that big. Now, Australia might seem a little bit silly, but as we can see, we can get a very subtle but noticeable difference when we put it onto the equator. So a lot of times, countries like this will kind of spread out kind of weirdly. That's the case with Australia. And most countries in the Mercator projection suffer the same fate as Russia does by extending their northernmost regions, or if they have overhangs like this kind of like extending them out, which is the same thing Antarctica has to deal with. However, Antarctica's panhandle extends, it's pretty long. So if we go ahead and put that into question, yeah, it's pretty long. Actually, let's get Chile as a comparison with Antarctica's panhandle. Okay, maybe I got a little bit overboard. So, as you can see, Chile is about 4 times larger than Antarctica's panhandle, which again is pretty interesting. Now focusing on Canada. Canada is one of the more popular choices for map projections. But yeah, we'll get to the most popular in a second. I think you might know what that one is. But anyway, Canada, once we drop it down, we can see that the Canadian islands extend all the way from Louisiana and Texas to North Dakota, or if we put it in the east, because I'm a Michigander, the island of Cuba or Florida or the Bahamas, all the way up to Michigan. Even stranger, if we put it down here, we can see that Canada extends the same length as Chile does, which kind of explains why it looks like extremely massive on the Mercator projection. But also, if we put it to Europe, this was actually from real life lore. This is not my idea. But Canada can stretch all the way from Iceland to the country of Uzbekistan. That's like the entire continent of Europe. Actually, I think Europe can touch pretty much all of the countries if I could just fiddle around with it here. Yeah, we won't count the Caucasian countries. We got all the microstates in there. Did we get Luxembourg? Nope, didn't get Luxembourg. Let's see if we got Luxembourg in there with all the other countries. Oh, wait, did we? Oh, come on, we didn't get Malta in there. Oh boy. Well, you get the idea.
You looking for a new free game?
Much better without the ads. Okay, on to the next island, which is Madagascar. Madagascar again looks quite small. Actually, in the entire continent of Africa, it's quite tiny. But as you saw in one of my earlier videos showing how many countries can fit inside Africa, it's quite a lot. So, yeah. Also, I gotta talk about the Japanese Riku Islands. So the Japanese Riku Islands are impressive, but not that impressive. But when placed on Europe, I mean, it is pretty impressive. Like, it can stretch all the way from the tip of Norway to Brittany and France, but that's pretty much all I have for Japan. Mexico, if we place Mexico, and this is another fault of curvature. Mexico an example for this, but the Mercator projection, what it does is it distorts countries. Like, what if Mexico was in Canada's place? Then Mexico would look really, really weird. Really, really weird. Yeah, that's a pretty cursed Mexico right there. Alright. So let's just have. Oh, come on. Now you might notice a pattern here is that I'm comparing all the equatorial countries over here to a lot of countries that seem a lot bigger but are actually a lot smaller. Now, Greenland is usually compared to Africa, but one country that it isn't compared to is Brazil. Greenland on its own is pretty big on the Mercator projection, but if we put it to Brazil, well, the answer speaks for itself. You can fit the entire country of Greenland actually. There might be bridges. Is there bridges? Come on, there has to be bridges. Make bridges. Where's bridges? Where's the bridges? There has to be bridges somewhere. Ah, I think I found some bridges. There you go. Perfect. As I was saying, you can fit the entire country of Greenland. Well, it's part of Denmark, but still, you can fit the entire province of Greenland inside of Brazil. Still have room to drive around the edges, which is pretty cool. I think I've said which is pretty cool too many times this video. Alright, last example. Which is going to be country that is never included in these comparisons. The country of Togo, which is basically the Chile of Africa, but the exact opposite. It's like it's a long country, but it failed to be a country like Croatia. Actually, if we compare it to Croatia, they're kind of the same size. What a coincidence. Wait. Togo, Croatia. Togo, Croatia. Well, I got to go now. That was so terrible. That was the worst joke I've ever had. Well, it's time to end this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya.